If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, then I want you to take a second and subscribe to Dolphins Today. Why? We're starting to turn into the #1 most watched Dolphins YouTube channel out there. To make sure you never miss any news like, I don't know, Brian Flores getting fired, turn on those notifications, and did I say this? Hit that sub button. Brian Flores replacements coming up here on today's show. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, ready to break down the top 10 candidates that could potentially be the next Miami Dolphins head coach. I also, don't tell anyone, sprinkled in a few big-name candidates that I do not think are going to be hired. Now, the way that this show is going to work is I'm going to work my way from 10 all the way down to 1. The guy that's number 1 is my top candidate for Miami. That doesn't mean he's the most likely. He's just the guy that if I was the Dolphins, I would try to hire. Now, maybe you live underneath a rock. Maybe you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel here. But Brian Flores was fired on Monday after 3 seasons in Miami. Now, in 2021, they finished with a 9-8 record, and they won, 8 out of their last 9 games. His overall record with Miami, 24-25. And considering the fact that Miami was one of the worst overall rosters, I personally thought, in 2019, for him to turn them into a 10-6 team to a 9-8 team was very, very surprising. And I said this earlier, if you were going to fire Brian Flores, you should have also fired Chris Grier. Now, what you guys are going to be seeing are my Brian Flores replacements. And if you agree with my statement that, hey, they should have also fired Chris Grier, go ahead and like the video right now. The more views, the more eyeballs we get on this, the more I'm a believer that the Miami Dolphins might actually come across this. And who knows, you guys could actually have a say in who gets to be the next head coach of Miami. Now, coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with Joe Lombardi, offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. I've been pretty impressed for his work overall with Justin Herbert. And, when you talk about Tua Tagovailoa, you also talk about Justin Herbert because he went right in one pick right after him. Now, I think he's a smart offensive-minded coach, and I'm going to look for somebody that I think could help Tua grow into the quarterback that you're hoping he can become. And when he has experience being a quarterback coach, he's also from the Sean McVay tree, which, you talk about a lot of these trees out there. I'm referencing the Bill Belichick tree. I know that Miami is an organization that likes guys that come from these smart trees, and Sean McVay right now might be one of the top ones out there. Now, coming in here at number 9 of my Flores replacements is Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator. Now, you have an offensive-minded guy. Now, you have a defensive-minded dude. He was the Jets head coach from 2015 to 2018, but I think we would all agree. I went and looked at what he's done as a head coach in New York because New York is an absolute dumpster fire of a sports franchise. Bowles has been coaching in the NFL since 2000. Now, I also know that he was with the Miami Dolphins from 2008 to 2011. And Bowles actually became the interim head coach here for Miami after a 0-7 start. And then the Dolphins won 6 out of their final 9 games. So could you potentially bring Todd Bowles back to Miami? Now, the entire reason why I made the show is because we're an interactive YouTube channel. And I want you to go down to the comments section and let me know, because this is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. Who do you want to be the Dolphins head coach next season? While you're getting hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know. Number 8 on my list here for Flores replacements is going to be Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy has done a solid job with that Chiefs offense, but I do get a little bit nervous considering the fact that, let's be real, not that Bieniemy doesn't have any input in the offense, but Andy Reid, I think, really truly is the guy that calls the plays while it's, when it comes down to it. He has been a top candidate. He was a top candidate last year. He played in the NFL from 1991 to 99 and has been the Chiefs OC since 2018. At number 7 on my list here is Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator from New England. Could Miami go back to the Bill Belichick tree? Could he pull somebody from New England? I mean, that still remains to be seen. I think everyone would agree. People respect McDaniels' mind, especially as an offensive-minded dude. I think he's done a pretty solid job with Mac Jones this year, not doing too much around him. Here's the thing, though. If you're going to name Josh McDaniels as your head coach, he's got a bad track record. The Denver Broncos gave him way too much say, and it was a disaster in 2009 and 2010. The Indianapolis Colts asked how he did with them. Hired him, and then he basically was like, you know what, I'm going to stay, screwed over a bunch of people. I personally do not trust Josh McDaniels. I personally think that he is a snake, and I wouldn't want the Dolphins to hire him, though he is going to be a name that gets mentioned a whole bunch. Coming in here at number 6, and this is probably turning out to be my favorite dark horse, maybe I should call it a dark dolphin, I don't know, candidate. Doug Pederson, former head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. It is so difficult to be able to find a head coach that has had the success that Pederson had. I mean, this dude won a Super Bowl in Philly in 2017. The Eagles, they decided to let him go because they decided to keep Carson Wentz instead. But anytime you can have Nick Foles and win a Super Bowl, I think that definitely deserves a lot of credit. Not only is he a smart offensive-minded dude, you talk to any player that's ever played underneath Pederson, maybe minus Carson Wentz, they respect the hell out of him. He played in the NFL from 1991 to 2004, the Eagles head coach from 2016 to 2020. This is going to be one of those dudes where I really, truly believe, even though he's not coaching right now, he deserves to be a head coach in the National Football League. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and bet on who's going to be the next Dolphins head coach, you can actually do it at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125. You're going to get a 125% deposit bonus when you sign up. Use that link there or else you ain't going to get the deposit bonus. Use that promo code or else you're not going to get the best betting deal on the internet. You can put down $200, get $250 for free. Be a big baller, put down $500, get $625 for free to bet with. Or you can put down $100, get $125 for free to bet with. Now, maybe you don't want to go ahead and put your money where your mouth is in terms of who's going to be the next Dolphins head coach. Maybe I don't blame you. But I will say this. Even though Miami is not playing this upcoming weekend, and even though they are not in the playoffs, I will bet on every single NFL game. Why? Because I love football. So if you want to bet on any of the NFC games this week, Bucs versus Eagles, Cowboys versus Niners, Rams versus Cardinals, if you want to bet on who's going to win the NFC, you can do that. If you want to go ahead and bet on any of the AFC wildcard games, Chiefs, Steelers, Bills, Patriots, Bengals, Raiders, or, hey, you can bet on who's going to win the AFC. You can do it at chatsports.com/bet. Remember the promo code, though, Dolphins125 for that 125% deposit bonus. Let's get in now to my top 5 Flores replacements. Maybe you want to go a defensive-minded guy again. Maybe Todd Bowles isn't the dude you want to bring in. What about Dan Quinn? He's done a phenomenal job, I think, with this Dallas Cowboys defense, realistically from top to bottom. And, I mean, I wasn't 100% sold on the idea of Dan Quinn, but now the fact that he has reached the Super Bowl with the Falcons is impressive. Dallas has been super aggressive on the defensive side of the football, and they love takeaways. And to be honest, I would like to kind of see what Dan Quinn could do with the defense that Miami has been able to put together. He also led one of the best defenses of all time, and I'm not afraid to say that, with the Legion of Boom back in 2013 with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, here's what the question's really going to come down to. Do you want an offensive-minded coach, or do you want a defensive-minded coach? I'm personally in the realm that I would like an offensive-minded dude because that's the way that the NFL is going. It's going more offense-heavy. Also, the way to get the most out of this team is getting Tua to play at a high level. For that, I would like to see an offensive-minded coach come in. But, hey, if you disagree with me because you're old school or you just sit there, you're like, defense wins championships and the defense is the strength of this team, so type O for offensive or D for defensive. What type of coach do you want Miami to hire? Coming in here at number 4, I'm going to go with Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. One of the biggest things that I continue to say this entire season for Miami, the offense was boring. Wake it up a little bit. Get Byron in there and start throwing the ball down the field. Byron always had this mentality that he wasn't afraid to chuck the ball around when he was a player. And then when he was coaching with the Steelers, same thing. Was chucking the ball around with Big Ben, Antonio Brown, that entire offense. And then now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I get it. He's got Tom Brady and a lot of offensive weapons, but he also is learning underneath Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians has that reputation for just being an absolute air-it-out type of coach. And if you want to have somebody who can be a little bit more fun, Brian Leftwich is a hell of an offer. Let's go to number 3 on my list, Brian Daboll. And Daboll was my number 1 candidate last offseason. Can't believe he didn't get hired, especially when you look at guys like, I don't know, David Culley getting a job instead of Daboll. Now, here's the thing. I personally would want to hire Daboll if I'm going to go ahead and bring in a strong-arm quarterback. That's not Tua to me, but Brian did a phenomenal job with Josh Allen and his overall development. He won NFL Assistant of the Year in 2020 as coach underneath Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, but do you want to bring in another Belichick guy? I'm not 100% sure. Sure, you can go ahead and bring somebody who's been kind of wrecking you a little bit in the AFC East. I like Daboll. He's a good coach. I just don't know if it's the most perfect fit for him in Miami. Coming in here at number 2 for my Flores replacements, I'm going to go with Nathaniel Hackett. And I love Nathaniel Hackett. The more and more I study on him, the more and more I really start to like him. I mean, this guy's been successful basically wherever he's gone. And if you're the Dolphins, you need to start getting some more success. Sure, you've had 2 winning seasons back-to-back, but if you're not making the playoffs, does it actually matter? Well, go ask Brian Flores. Has 7 seasons of NFL coaching experience. Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers doesn't hype up many people besides himself in today's world, but he loves his passion, says he has a very high football IQ, and I really, truly believe that Hackett could really help Tua Tagovailoa grow. Now, when I made this video, I was thinking, you know what, there's going to be a lot of coaches out there that people are going to be like, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? I mean, it's already been said. The Miami Dolphins owner has come out and said that he doesn't want to take Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan. So for that reason, he is a big-name candidate. I truly believe that Harbaugh should be on this list, should be in the top 5. But if that's what Ross is already saying, Stephen Ross, then, hey, man, I don't know if it's going to happen. Dabo Swinney. The only reason why Dabo Swinney is on this list is because if you want Deshaun Watson and you're not confident in Tua, I truly believe go out and hire Dabo Swinney, and Deshaun Watson's coming to Miami. Mike Tomlin's been rumored to potentially be leaving Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's going to happen now after they made the playoffs, but hey, definitely could be a candidate. And then Sean Payton. The Saints are not in the playoffs. Payton, another guy that's been starting to pop up. If either of these dudes are like, you know what, we're leaving the Steelers, we're leaving the Saints, they're going to be top 5 candidates, no doubt about it. Now, here we go. The number 1 Flores replacement should be Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Are you just saying that because Kellen Moore's a lefty and Tua Tagovailoa is a lefty? No, I'm not. But, hey, I'm glad you brought it up. I will say this, though. If you're trying to develop Tua, this would be my number 1 guy. My number 1 candidate to develop Tua Tagovailoa into the quarterback that you're hoping that he can be as the number 5 overall pick in the 2020 draft would be Moore. What the Dallas Cowboys offense has turned into is right now, you could say one of the top offenses in the National Football League. Bright young mind, and I really, truly believe that's the route that I would personally go if I was the Miami Dolphins. Now, obviously, y'all, I'm not going to get every single person on this list. I'm sure there's some people that you're like, wow, I can't believe he left him off. Here's your chance. Let me know who I left off my list of Brian Flores replacements, and this is one of the things that makes our channel different. We want to know what you have to say, and we're going to be looking down in the comments of some other coaches that you think the Dolphins could hire. Now, here we go. One more time, y'all. Brian Flores replacements, 10-6. Joe Lombardi, Todd Bowles, Eric Bieniemy, Josh McDaniels, Doug Pederson. And then the top 5. Dan Quinn, Byron Leftwich, Brian Daboll, Nathaniel Hackett, Kellen Moore. If you made it this far in the video, hey, man, I appreciate you guys. Share this show on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Click that share button. The more people that see this, because I really, truly want the Dolphins fans to have a say on who's going to be the next head coach, of the Miami Dolphins.